Chapter 3. The darkness in Blackwood Manor has teeth, especially here in the library, where centuries-old books sit like silent watchers from floor-to-ceiling shelves. I've spent enough nights in haunted houses to know how shadows play tricks, how the mind fills in blanks with monsters, but this is different. Moonlight filters through the grimy windows, casting web-like shadows across leather-bound volumes whose spines are cracked and peeling like old scabs. The darkness feels alive, hungry, pooling in corners and between the stacks where my flashlight beam doesn't quite reach. The air is thick with the musty perfume of decaying paper and something else, something metallic and dirty that catches in the back of my throat. I can't shake the feeling that the books are watching me, their gilt-edged pages glinting like predatory eyes in the weak light. The wooden floorboards creak beneath my feet, despite my careful steps, and each sound echoes through the cavernous room like a gunshot. An antique reading desk sits in the center of the room, its surface scarred with symbols that look less like idle scratches and more like deliberate markings. My hands are sweaty on my flashlight, and I keep catching movement in my peripheral vision, though every time I turn, there's nothing there but more shadows, more books, more darkness. The equipment failures are piling up like bodies at a crime scene, EMF meters dead, cameras offline, temperature sensors giving readings that make absolutely no sense. And that sound from upstairs keeps dragging on, like something heavy being pulled across the floorboards. Just the wind, I mutter to myself, but even I don't believe it anymore. The wind doesn't whisper names. The wind doesn't make the temperature drop 30 degrees in seconds. And the wind definitely doesn't slam solid oak doors hard enough to crack the frame. I check my phone, 2:47 a.m. The devil's hour, as Alex would say. Alex. Something about him nags at my mind like a loose tooth, but I can't focus on that now. Though his short tale of the previous owner luring victims to this place, never to be seen again, shook me. Now I wish it had been a prank for some vid, especially now that my supposedly foolproof equipment is failing spectacularly, and something is moving in the darkness just beyond my sight. The laptop screen flickers to life, showing brief glimpses of the master bedroom before dissolving into static again. But in those fragments of footage, I swear I see something. A figure standing by the bed, tall and elegant in what looks like period clothing. Not the woman in white from the reports. This is different. "Come on," I growl, fingers flying over the keyboard as I try to salvage the corrupted video file. "Show me what you are." The temperature drops again, my breath clouding in front of my face. The darkness seems to pulse, contracting around me like a living thing. I've spent years telling myself there's always a rational explanation, always some mundane truth behind the ghost stories. But right now, watching frost creep across my laptop screen, I'm not so sure anymore. A sound behind me, footsteps, light and precise. I spin around, flashlight ready, but the beam catches nothing but dancing dust motes. My heart's doing a drum solo against my ribs, and I hate how my hands shake as I reach for my backup camera. "If there's something here," I say to the empty room, "show yourself, no more games." The words barely leave my mouth when every piece of functioning equipment I have left goes haywire. The EMF meter's needle slams against the maximum reading, its warning tone screaming into the darkness. The temperature drops so fast my teeth ache, and the laptop's screen strobes with corrupted images that look disturbingly like faces in agony. And then, I hear a loud groan. It's coming from one of the bookshelves, a deep creaking sound that makes my skin crawl. Before I can react, a book launches itself from the highest shelf, flying through the air as if thrown by an invisible hand. It lands at my feet with a heavy thud. With trembling fingers, I reach down to pick it up. The leather binding feels unnaturally warm against my skin as I turn it over. My flashlight beam catches the chapter heading, and my blood turns to ice. "Run away," stares back at me in faded gold lettering. What the hell kind of book? I start to mumble, but I'm cut short by another horrific groan from the bookshelf. This one's different, more like straining wood about to give way. I look up just in time to see the massive bookcase tilting forward. There's no time to move, no time to think. The last thing I register is the thunderous crash as hundreds of pounds of wood and rotting books come crashing down on top of me, and then everything goes black.
I would like to give a special thanks to both patrons and Lunar listeners. Thank you so much for your support. It's all going directly into creating more audio content for your listening pleasure. Lunar listeners receive early access to all audio chapters on YouTube. Patreon members receive early access to uncensored audio chapters, along with full audio shorts too hot for Amazon and YouTube.